I have been selling 3D printed products since back in March 2022 and had pretty good results so far. It enabled me to quit my day job last year and to do what I love full-time. In this video I'll be sharing all my sales numbers from the very beginning. But before we get started, the reason I'm sharing this video is no way to brag or to flex at all. Personally, if I see other creators and entrepreneurs share this kind of insight and how much they make, I find that stuff really inspiring. This is also what led me to start a side hustle/business in the first place. So I will break everything down into chapters and I will be talking about what I was doing and what I was feeling during the last 2.5 years. I will start with the first month, which is March 2022. I posted my first product on Etsy and made in the first month 13 francs. In April I added 2 more products for the same grinder and the sales started to ramp up to 1,158. I was printing on my Ender 3 Pro that I had before. Then in May the unthinkable happened. An influencer in the coffee world discovered my products, reviewed it and said it's a must-have. The sales exploded in May to 6,089 francs. And had to add 2 more printers to the fleet in order to keep up with the orders. In June, I took 2 weeks of holidays and closed my shop. And this time my partner and I were able to relax a bit from balancing a day job, side hustle and family time. In July I made 5,912 and in August 6,244. In September I moved into a small hobby room since the basement was getting too tight for 6 Ender 3s. In October we took another 2 weeks off. That's also the time I added another 3 products for espresso machine I owned. In November I made 4,657 and in December 6,728. All the month added up, the first year came to 42,597. Looking back, 2022 was a crazy year. With the pandemic happening, a lot of people were locked down. That's also how I got into the home barista world by buying a grinder and a coffee machine. Being an engineer, I always wanted to start a company and build products that have a real impact. But I never acted on it and followed the route of being employed at different companies and getting into a routine. When I posted my first product on Etsy, I never thought that anybody would be interested in buying something I created with my own 3D printer. I was very lucky that somebody with such a large audience not even tested my product, but also found it really useful. It was hard to keep up. But already in that year I developed the automatic printing system and was printing 24/7 in my basement. Otherwise 6 Enders wouldn't have been enough to keep up with the orders. Honestly, looking back now, the start was a really fun experience. Because in the beginning you have no expectations, there's no stress at all. Later on, when the sales started to grow and you have no system in place yet, it can get very overwhelming. If you are in the first phase, try to cherish it. Because all the money I made was extra money that can be invested fully back into the business. But the biggest unlock at that time for me was that it is possible to make some money by selling 3D printed products, and that I was solving other people's problems using my own design parts. In January 2023, a lot of things happened in the same time. I added 3 more listings and started the transition from Creality to Prusa. I was getting tired of tinkering and needed something more reliable. In February I made 7,398 and in March 7,451. This was a real turning point for me. Before, when my friends asked me how the side hustle was going, I always downplayed it, saying that it might be just a fluke and one wave to ride. But in March 2023, when the sales numbers were above 7,000 for 3 months in a row, I started to believe that this is something that could work in the long term. And one question was always in my mind. What would happen if I would do that full time? Right when I thought that, the sale numbers started to decline. In April it fell to 5,292, in May to 5,626, and then came June with only 2,583, marking the lowest month since almost the beginning. It was a pretty big reality check for me. Just 2 months after I thought about going full time, the sales dropped to such a low level and crushed my hopes. Right at that time, something else happened. My best friend decided to join forces with me and gave me hope again to turn it around. It was just great to have somebody else on board to discuss products and strategy. In July we made 4,751, in August 5,654, and then we launched 6 new products, which led to a revenue of 8,523 in September. These new products were ramping up and we had 8,792 in October, 13,011 in November and 12,015 in December, closing the year with 89,654 francs. That's an increase of 112% compared to 2022. And I think these were great results for a side hustle. 2023 was just wild. With its up and downs, looking back, it was the most stressful time of my life. Our second child was born in May. The combination of having a day job, a side hustle and sleepless nights were really exhausting. At that time I knew that it was not sustainable for my mental health and that something needed to change. That's where I decided to take a leap. I quit my day job. Was it risky? Yes. Could the timing have been better? Definitely. Was it courageous or stupid? Only time will tell. But, and this is the most important thing, it just felt right. It was not a decision I took listening to my brain. It was listening to my gut. In January 2024, we made 14,579, in February 11,738 and in March 13,326. At this point we added a second Etsy store and a Shopify store with another branch of products to prove that our system works and we are not just lucky with the first store. It worked out. In April, May and June we were able to increase sales significantly. At this point I decided to start this YouTube channel as a new side hustle. I wanted to share our journey and most importantly support others pushing 3D printed products to market. When I was trying to find trainings or tools like price calculator or upgrades for 3D print farms, I was just not satisfied with the results. So I decided to create my own tools and provide them to fellow 3D print enthusiasts who want to start their own side hustles. Creating videos, sharing insights and polishing tools like auto cold pull codes took more time than expected. This was reflected also in the decrease in revenue in the following month. But with Christmas season arriving and with new products developed from my friend, the sales recovered and we ended the year at a record high of 28,368 in December alone, totaling 178,231 francs in total revenue, a plus of 97%. 2024 was different. On the one hand, I was able to focus all my energy on pushing our mission forward, but on the other hand, without having an income from my day job, the pressure was just intense. There were times, mostly in summer when sales numbers drop, that negative thoughts starts creeping into my mind, like, what happens if the sales are not recovering by winter? It got even worse when I found out that a competitor copied our bestseller. On the bright side though, my best friend also joined full-time at the end of 2024, and we are now 2 3D farmers pushing our lifetime project forward. Before I share our revenue target for this year, 2025, I want to talk about why I'm making this video. By showing our numbers as transparent as possible, we want to inspire other people to join us on our journey, but also to talk about the difficult times. Exactly in these times, I was always looking for like-minded people for advice, but it was hard to find any. That's why in 2025, our focus is to create a community and provide tools and trainings for other 3D print farmers. To give you one example, we're currently working on a CAD challenge to teach how to design functional but also decorative parts. Why is that so important? New 3D print farms are created on a daily basis. And to have a competitive edge, it is important to learn how to design your own unique products. This way you can escape the race to the bottom, which we can observe on Etsy and also on other platforms. Therefore, I invite you to join our Patreon and Discord, and together we can bring more 3D printed products to market. So what is our revenue target for 2025? The same as we do every year, aiming to double what we achieved last year. So let's stop talking and start printing.